Hello everyone, Rochelle here, and today I'm sharing with you all my 2017 craft goals. And yes, I know it's February, but hey, better late than never, right? Alright, so let's get started. Okay, so my 2016 goals, I'm just gonna go through them, and I'm just gonna tell you all which ones I'm gonna keep and which ones I'm gonna leave in 2016. Alright, so let's get started. The first one was to learn how to Tunisian crochet. Didn't do it. I didn't do it. That's all I can say. I didn't learn how to do it. Maybe I'll learn how to do it in the future, but I am not keeping that goal for 2017. The next goal was to learn how to knit, learn how to hand knit. And yes, I did learn. I am like addicted to knitting now. Of course, I'll always love crochet, but I am so addicted to knitting, and it's just introduced a whole new world and a whole new community to me. And so I really have enjoyed knitting. And yes, I am going to keep this goal into 2017 because I want to learn more techniques and just learn how to do more and just take my knitting to another level. The third goal for 2016 was to hand dye yarn. I did not learn how to hand dye yarn in 2016, but I'm going to keep it on the list as a 2017 goal. I definitely want to learn how to hand dye yarn because I think I'm addicted to that also. And so I would love to learn how to create my own colorways and just learn how to do it myself. That would be awesome. My fourth goal was to make garments for myself. Yes, I did do that. I made myself the Bob Wilson 123 sweater. It was like a she had a video on it. It was like a tutorial, and then she had a recipe that you could follow along with the tutorial, and I definitely made that. I absolutely love that sweater. It's my lounging around sweater. And also I made myself some shawls and scarves and hats for myself. You know, sometimes as crafters we make so much stuff for other people, but we never think to make anything for ourselves. Sometimes we don't make time for it, or we don't feel like we're worthy. But yeah, definitely make time to knit and crochet and just make things for yourself. So yes, I'm going to keep that goal for 2017. The fifth one was to try new yarns. Yes, I definitely tried a lot of new yarns in 2016. Just to name a few, Barocco, Oat Knit Yarns, Hand Dye Yarn, Universal Yarns, Knit Picks, Kaleidoscope, Juniper Moon Farms, Ella Rae. I definitely tried all of those. And yes, I'm going to keep that goal for 2017. Some of the yarn that I want to try is Woollenvine yarns. The only thing with her yarns is that her yarn literally sells out in 2 minutes. And I'm not exaggerating on this. Like, she'll have a shop update at 7 o'clock and I will already be logged in because I already have my account set up. Her yarns will go on sale at 7 o'clock, and by 7:02 they were gone. All her yarn was gone. That's how popular she is. So yeah, I mean, at this point I think the only way I'm going to get her yarn is if I literally drive to Brooklyn and attend one of her trunk shows, because her yarn is so hard to find. Well, so hard to get because it just sells out so quickly. But it must be some good stuff, right? And she has a YouTube channel called Yarngasm here on YouTube, and so I always enjoy watching her shop updates. But I also want to try Madeline Tosh, and I want to try some Hue Loco yarn. She also has a channel also on YouTube. I absolutely love her work. She seems like she's a really nice person, so I definitely want to try her yarn. Also, Oink Pigments. Okay, like when I am on YouTube and people are posting pictures of Oink Pigments yarn, like, yeah, I just want some so bad. And also hedgehog fibers. Oh my goodness, I would love to try that yarn. And those are just a few. Like there's a lot more, a lot of different yarn brands, whether it be commercial or whether it be hand dyed, indie yarn dyed. I definitely want to try a lot more. And if you all have any suggestions on new yarn brands or new hand dyed yarn that I should try, definitely leave it down in the comment section below. I'm open to ideas, especially anything with superwash merino, silk nylon, any of that good stuff. I'm not really into alpaca simply because it makes my skin itch, but I just wonder if I just hadn't tried the right alpaca yarn. I don't know. I'm going to be going to a fiber festival in a few weeks, and you know, I'll see what kind of alpaca yarn they have there and see, you know, see if it affects me the way other alpaca yarn does. Alright, so moving on. Number 6 was to visit more local yarn stores. Yes, I did accomplish that goal. In 2016, here in my local town, we did get another yarn store close by. I did try that one, but that was it. Next year, I'm definitely keeping that goal for 2017. Why am I saying next year? We're in 2017. See, that's what I get for doing my yarn video in February. Anyway, yes, I'm going to keep that goal for this year. I definitely want to visit more yarn stores. You know, I don't really live close to any yarn stores, but there's a few in like Raleigh, North Carolina that I would love to try, and then there's some at Myrtle Beach, just, you know, in South Carolina that I want to try. Those areas are fairly close to me, so I would definitely love to try those. Yeah, that would be great. Alright, so number 7, improve my craft fair. Yes, I did improve my craft fair. I only did one craft fair last year, but I will not be keeping that one on the list for 2017 for a few reasons. One is because I like the setup that I came up with last year, and if I was to do another craft fair, I would keep that same setup. But also, like, there just aren't many opportunities to do craft fairs around here. Yeah, I just don't really like the way they're being done around here. So, yeah, I don't really know if I'm even going to do a craft fair in 2017. So, I'm not going to keep that one on the list. I mean, if an opportunity comes, then I would love to do a craft fair. I love having my booth set up and my tent set up, and all of that is really, really great. But we'll see how this year goes. But I'm not going to keep it on the list, though. It's just kind of one of those things. If it happens, great. If it don't, oh well, it wasn't on my list. Alright, so the 8th goal from last year was to make amigurumi toys, and I did not. Well, okay, I'm gonna say yes, I did do that. I made a blanket where I just had the there was a bunny's head that I made. It was like an amigurumi bunny, and the bottom of the bunny was, well, the head of the bunny was attached to a blanket, kind of like one of those lovey blankets, one of those baby comforter blankets. So yeah, I would say I accomplished that goal, but what I want to do going into 2017 is keep this goal, and I want to make toys, you know, dolls and bears and stuff like that. I want to definitely get more into amigurumi in 2017. The 9th goal is to join a crafts, oh god, I can't say the word. That is so sad. Craftsy. There we go. Join a Craftsy class or either buy a kit. I didn't do that in 2017, but I'm telling y'all, I'm definitely going to do that in 2017. I have signed up with their email list, and they've been sending me a lot of great emails, so I'm definitely going to join a Craftsy class this year. Number 10 was to create my own patterns. Yes, I did accomplish that goal. I did my slouchy hat pattern, which is available on YouTube, and also on Instructables.com. It's available there. And yeah, thank you also for being so supportive of my slouchy hat, and thank you for, you know, being patient and enjoying it, and I really do appreciate it. And you know, feel free to post your finished projects on Instagram or Facebook and just tag me or whatever you want to do, but I would love to see your finished projects of the slouchy hat. Number 11. Oh, and yes, I am going to keep that one for 2017 as well. Hopefully I'll come up with some more stuff. Number 11 was to cross stitch. No, I did not cross stitch in 2016. And I was debating on whether I would keep this goal for 2017. But a friend of mine gave me a bunch of vintage cross stitch patterns. And I love vintage patterns. So yeah, I'm going to make it my aim to cross stitch something this year. Number 12, latch hook. Okay, I did not latch hook anything in 2016. And I kind of didn't want to keep this one on the list, but I have a latch hooking project that I've never started on, and I've had it for several years. My stepmother gave it to me, and it's still in the bag, and that is just so sad. And I've got to do that project. If I don't latch hook anything else for the rest of my life, I have to what I keep saying, cross stitch. I have to do this latch hooking project, and it's still in the bag. I've never taken it out. So yeah, definitely I'm gonna keep the latch hooking goal, especially just to finish that one project that I haven't done. Number 13 was to learn how to arm knit. No, I did not learn how to arm knit, and no, I do not plan on learning how to arm knit in 2017. If it happens, great. If it don't, oh well. Number 14, finger knitting. No, I did not finger knit in 2016, and no, I do not plan on learning in 2017. If I learn, great. If I don't, then that's okay too. Number 15, and the last thing, was I wanted to but I wanted to sew more. I wanted to make more, I wanted to do more things with my sewing machine. And yes, I accomplished that goal because I did make some pillows and stuff like that. But in 2017, I want to do more. I went to Hobby Lobby, and they were having a awesome sale where all of their sewing patterns were only 99 cents. And so me and my stepmom, like, we went crazy. We were buying all kinds of patterns. It was so much fun. And so I definitely have some skirt patterns and some dress patterns that I would like to make this year. And it's so sad. Like, I have fabric. I really do have fabric, and I don't know, yarn has taken over my life. I sewed first before I ever started crocheting, but for some reason yarn has just bypassed fabric. But I've got to fix that. I really do. Okay, so those are all of my goals for 2016, and a lot of them I'm going to keep, but some I'm going to leave in 2016. So it looks like, quick count here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 patterns from last year I'm going to keep. Okay, now for 2017 craft goals. Okay, so this kind of piggybacks off of sewing, but I want to sew project bags. I enjoy sewing, especially quick projects like pillowcases and pillows, but I do not have any proper project bags. And what I mean by that is my project bags are Ziploc bags, like the gallon Ziploc bags, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with using the plastic Ziploc bags. The only problem is it gets to a point where I stuff it too much, or like it'll get a hole in it, or my needle will stick through it, or my hook will stretch it. And like, for example, This right here, this is a project bag for me. Right now I have some yarn in there, but when I start using this yarn, because I've already caked it up, it's gonna be my project bag. And I just, you know, I have to get some proper project bags, because after a while these get, you know, crinkly and they start to break and they don't seal at the top. But these have been great for me for many years. But for 2017, I kind of want to step it up a little bit and make myself some project bags. And the second 2017 goal is to, this is a kind of a new one. This is kind of one I just stumbled upon like a couple of weeks ago. But I want to make stitch markers, stitch markers and progress keepers. Yes, I definitely want to do that. And I've already kind of started doing that. I've been taking old earrings and I've been making progress keepers with them. So yeah, it's nice to have something kind of shiny and dangly on your knitting work. So like I said, knitting has just opened up a whole new world for me. So yeah, I definitely want to start making progress keepers and stitch markers. The third goal for 2017 is to learn how to knit socks. And I'm very ambitious with this because I would love to learn how to knit 2 socks at a time using magic loop. I know, totally ambitious, especially for a new knitter, but I don't want to succumb to the, what's it called, the one sock syndrome, where you just make one sock and then the other sock never gets done. So I think that if I learn how to knit 2 at a time, it'll keep me accountable. But if that don't work, you know, I just want to learn how to knit socks just in general, like whether it's using 2 like whether it's, you know, knitting 2 at a time but on different needles, you know what I'm saying? Just kind of working on both socks at the same time, or maybe trying DPNs. Yeah, I don't know about DPNs. DPNs are scary to me. They're really scary, which leads me to my 4th goal: learn how to use DPNs. This is one that I hope that I accomplish this year. I don't have a lot of confidence in myself that I will learn how to use DPNs because they just look scary. Like sometimes I see people, they'll have like 3 and 4, you know, double pointed needles for one project, and I don't know. We'll see. I would love to learn, but we'll see. So I want to learn how to make socks and I want to learn how to use DPNs. Now, the 5th goal is one that I've definitely already started doing, and that is to use more yarn than I buy. As you all know, I have been on a yarn ban, and today is February the 3rd, and for the whole month of January, I did not buy any yarn. No yarn whatsoever did I buy, and it's been great. It's really given me a chance to just use up yarn and to make things, and I just want to use more yarn than I buy. You know, there's yarn that I've had for many years and I've never used it. I've never taken it off the shelf, and you know, there's nothing wrong with that, but just for me, like, I just, you know, I can't have that. Like, I need to use my yarn. And because I've been trying like so many different new yarns, like my old yarn has just been sitting on the shelf, not getting any love. And so I don't know whether I'm gonna try to sell my yarn or give it away or make more stuff for myself. But yeah, I definitely want to use more yarn than I buy this year. Which leads me to my next goal, my number 6, is to give more gifts. I have found that I love giving people gifts. I love making yarn related things for people and just surprising them with it. Like, oh, I made you a scarf, you know, oh, I made you a hat. And I love when people, you know, like they're getting married or they're having a child or they have a new job or whatever. Like, I just love to find opportunities to knit or crochet people things and give them gifts. So definitely for 2017, I want to make more gifts. I just want to give more. You know, even if that includes finding a nice charity who needs hats and scarves and things like that. I just want to give more this year. So that's definitely a top priority goal for me this year, is just to give more. Yeah, so the 7th goal is, this one's kind of funny because I've always struggled with this one, and that is to join as I go. The thing that well, I shouldn't say all, but most crocheters and knitters regret doing, or just hate doing rather, is weaving in ends. And I learned my lesson. I made 2 granny square blankets last year, 2 big granny square blankets. One was a bedspread and one was the ugly granny square blanket. And y'all, it took me forever to weave in those ends. So this year, my goal is to join as I go, because I do intend on making some more rather large scale blankets. So yes, definitely, I'm going to join as I go this year. I've learned my lesson, people. I've learned my lesson. Okay, so those are all of my goals. And yeah, so it seems that I have like 16 or 17 goals this year. We'll see what happens. I am way too ambitious, but I'm not one of those people who come down on themselves if they don't accomplish all of their goals. It's fine. It doesn't bother me. You know, it's just trying new things. It doesn't bother me at all that I didn't accomplish all my goals. You know, some things I'm going to keep for next year, and some things are just going to stay in 2016. Maybe I'll pick them up along the way in the future, but I really don't stress about not meeting yarn goals. I mean, I do enjoy my small victories when I do accomplish a goal, but I'm not going to beat myself up over it if I don't accomplish it. But yeah, so those are all of my goals. Now, one more thing that I want to do is answer a question, kind of like my what you want to know section of the video. And I do have one question that I am going to answer for you all. It was a question that was left for me in the comment section, and I will be right back to answer that question for you all. Okay, I'm back, and I am going to answer a question that was left to me in the comment section below by Miss Victoria Bailey Johnson. Hello, Victoria. I finally got to your question. Okay, so her question was, let's see what I do with it. She wanted to know, what is the difference between DK and worsted weight yarn? And she just wants me to explain the characteristics between the two. And I would love to do that for you. Thank you so much for your question. Alright, so let's get started. Now, DK weight is a lighter weight yarn than worsted. That's the big difference. DK is a lighter weight than worsted. And here in the US, it's classified as a number 3. Sometimes you'll hear it called a light worsted weight yarn. Whereas worsted weight is classified as a number 4 yarn. Now, DK stands for double knitting, but that doesn't mean that you're holding 2 strands of yarn together to stitch it. That's not what double knitting means. It simply is just a way to classify the weight of the yarn. Now, one way to distinguish between DK and worsted weight yarn is by the number of plies. Now, plies are those individual strands of yarn that are worked together to form plied yarn. Because I'm sure you've heard of 2-ply, 4-ply, 8-ply yarn. Those are just the number of individual strands that are worked together to make that yarn. And sometimes you'll even hear someone refer to yarn as singles, meaning that it's just one strand, it's just one ply. But a lot of times you'll hear it referred to as singles. Now, multiple plies can be used to create a skein of yarn. And while some countries actually use the number of plies to classify the thickness of the yarn, In most cases, the number of plies has nothing to do with the thickness of the yarn. It really doesn't. Because you can have a very bulky 2-ply yarn or an extremely thin 4-ply yarn, depending on how the individual singles were produced. So that's why you can't always go by the number of plies, because, you know, if you have 2 thick strands, that could be considered bulky. But if you have 4 skinny strands, you know, that could be like DK. I mean, it's just, you know, it's better to, well, it's not better, but some countries actually use the number of plies to classify the thickness of the yarn, even though the plies don't always have to do with the thickness of the finished yarn. Alright, so you can also typically get more yardage in a DK skein because the yarn is thinner. And so I just want to share with you all an example of DK and worsted weight yarn. Like this yarn here I have is this is DK weight, and you'll see here that it actually says a number 3 light worsted. Yeah, right here. And then right here I have DK weight yarn. See where it says DK? But if you turn here, it also says a number 3 light weight yarn. So it can be interchangeable. Sometimes you'll see it called DK. Sometimes you'll see it called light worsted. At least that's what I've seen in my experience. Okay. I also wanted to share with you, oh, I didn't show the worsted weight yarn, but this is worsted weight. And you can see that here. Let's see, where is it on this one? Yeah, it's really, really small at the bottom, but it says number 4, medium. That is your worsted weight yarn. And it feels great. But as you can see, this is thicker. This is thicker than this yarn. Yeah, this is the thicker yarn. Alright, so I wanted to share with you something I found on Ravelry. It's called the Ravelry Standard Yarn Weights. I just printed this off. You can find it on Ravelry. Also, the Yarn Council also has a great chart as well. You should really check that out. But it just goes to show like the different plies, because remember I said earlier how some countries actually use plies to determine the thickness of the yarn. Like they use that to classify the thickness of the yarn. And so for example, like a number 8 ply in say the UK, so in the UK or Australia, an 8-ply yarn would be like a DK here. And just like if somebody says, you know, I have a 12-ply yarn, then in the US it may mean a bulky weight. But this is a really, really good chart to try. And depending, well, yeah, it's a really good chart to look at. And depending on the chart that you're reading, the plies might, you know, vary a little bit. But with this one, it's really, really great. It also says that like a 2-ply in the UK could mean like a lace weight here in the States. So definitely check this out. Go on Ravelry. Check out the standard yarn weight table. And you'll find on there that it also talks about wraps per inch. So you may wonder, what does that mean, wraps per inch? And that is a really great method to determine the weight of an unknown yarn, especially like if you lost the label on your yarn and you totally have forgotten what the weight of the yarn is. Or maybe you're using hand spun yarn, and of course you know with hand spun yarn the thickness varies. It goes up and down. So to do this method, you can use a pencil, a ruler, or there's an actual wraps per inch tool. And so to do this method, you simply just wrap your yarn around your pencil or your ruler or your tool, and you count the number of wraps per inch. And I'm going to quickly demonstrate that for you here. Okay, so what you want to do is take your ruler and wrap it around. Wrap it around until you have an inch. And you want to bunch it together. Make sure you squeeze it together. Let me get mine over a little bit more. Okay. So I have my inch here. And let's count how many times I was able to go around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I was able to wrap my yarn around 9 times and still stay within an inch. Let me move it together. So I was able to wrap it around 9 times and stay within an inch. And so if I look at my chart here, and 9 wraps per inch equals worsted weight. So that's how I know that I have worsted weight yarn, because I was able to wrap this around 9 times within an inch on my ruler. So, Miss Victoria, I hope that I was able to help you. Yeah. I really do hope that I was able to help you out with that. And I will talk to you all in the next video. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all are having a super awesome day. And until the next video, bye!